This is a channel I subscribe to. He's in Atlanta. He's an Atlanta Braves fan. But he talks about other sports too and other teams. But he did a live pregame show, and he said in his live Game 4 pregame live stream, he said the Braves had to put something on the board at the top of the first, or his confidence level is going to go from a 7 to a 5. Well, my confidence level going into this game was not even a 7. It was on a scale of 1 to 10. It was a 5 at best. Because after seeing what I've seen recently on how they play, very inconsistent and shaky, I have very little confidence. And after they pretty much got blown out last night in game 3, which shouldn't have happened. None of that should be happening. Strider pitching the first game, and then we had the bats were quiet. And it was ridiculous. We got shut out the first game at home. At home, that was a bad sign. I said that when we gave up the last series of the season, and it was at home, we lost 2 games at a tree at home to the Nationals. The last games of the last series of the year, the last games of the year, and it had to be at home, and we dropped the series against the nothing Nationals, right, at home. And the last game, no less, we lost to the Nationals at home, the last game of the season. Going into the postseason, that's the look the best team in baseball had. I even said that. And lo and behold, game 1 of the playoffs at home, what happens? Shutout, 3-0. Game 2, game of the year, Michael Harris Jr., game of the year, Austin Riley, game of the year. Okay, game of the year. The momentum has shifted. Okay, game 3 happened, and what did we lose? What was it, 8-2 or was it 10-2? It was a high number we lost by. Remember that last night? And then look at us now. Look at us today. This guy's a fan. Was a fan. I'm not. The Braves. I'm gonna rip you a new one. I agree 100% with this. You couldn't hit it. You couldn't even hit it into a pocket in the field to get a base hit. For some strange reason, you just couldn't hit anything. Look at you. Look, this is not the best team in baseball. You're extremely inconsistent. You were destroying everybody in June for 30 days. Yeah, that would look great. That's what the best team in baseball should be doing. But then the All-Stars happened. All of a sudden, you forgot how to play baseball. Let's roll back before the All-Stars. That Toronto series up in Toronto, that was a show. Getting swept. You forgot how to play up in Toronto before the All-Stars. I saw that series. It was like the Bad News Bears out there. But then you snap back into it, and the bats woke up and everything. The defense was great. The offense was great. And June was great. And then the All-Stars happened. Remember that? And after the All-Stars, it looked like the Braves were back to sleep again. Like you lost your heart. You were playing the game half-hearted. Sometimes you were on fire. Sometimes you weren't. Sometimes you caught the ball. Sometimes you just couldn't. Balls getting overthrown. Bats asleep. Pitching off point. I mean, ridiculous after the All-Stars. And then look at you. So I agree with this guy. Hey, Lisa, I agree with you. I'm not going to go easy on the Braves. I'm not one of those wishy-washy. I'm not one of those Braves fans that go, oh, I love my Bravos. No matter what, I love them. No. That was the old me. But I gave up watching baseball over 10 years ago because just like this guy says, getting tired of getting dragged to the playoffs and then you literally do nothing. Nothing. You blow it. That's not the best team in baseball. Dropping the last games of the season to the Nationals and at home is not the best team in baseball. And it damn sure ain't a good look. You should have destroyed the Nationals at home for the last series and last games of the season, and it was at home. And fireworks should have been all over the place. But that didn't happen. I said, that's not good. I have a bad feeling. Show's enough. You couldn't even make it to 5 games. You couldn't even stretch it out to bring it home with Max Fried on the mound Saturday night and do some magic. You couldn't do anything like that. You just fizzled. You just went to sleep. I'm disgusted. So you know what? The Braves, you suck. I'm going to say, I'm not going to be like these other Braves fans that are going to stick by you. I'm going to be like a parent is to a kid. You need to straighten up, all right? You're the best team in baseball. Act like it. Sick and tired of this wishy-washy nonsense. One week you're hot, next week you forgot how to play baseball. What is that? What is that? Well, take a look at this guy. I'm not the only one. Look at him. He's sick. He's sick to the stomach. Look at the look. You see that look? You see that? This is what more often than not, this is the look you get when you're watching the Braves in postseason. They'll bat and slug it out all season long to get to the postseason, playoffs, and then boom, drop it like it's hot. Come on, say something, Mr. Dugas. Say something.
104 wins.
104 wins. Best team in baseball, 104 wins.
One of the greatest prolific offenses in modern day history. And you get to the playoffs.
You get to the playoffs. Look at this.
And you can't hit a damn thing.
You can't hit a damn thing.
You can't hit.
You can't hit.
Win the division by 14 games.
By 14 games you win the division.
You get to the playoffs.
That's it.
You can't hit a damn thing.
Nothing.
I'm
got
sorry.
Punked out yesterday too. And punked out today. You got punked out.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, game 1 they got punked out, shut out. Game 3 they got punked out, and tonight they got punked out. He's pissed off.
And you can't hit.
Can't hit. You can't hit.
With all due respect to Ranger Suarez, you go up against him twice, and you saw a grand total of 1 run.
1 run. You would think that this team, you would think that when you're going up against, especially in something important like this, like you're going up against the Phillies, you would think that every player in that club, on that team, and including the coach, would have him do this. Like study the pitchers, study every player on that team, what they do, what they're capable of doing. Study the pitcher, and then learn how to play and counter whatever they're doing and destroy them. In other words, study your enemy, know thy enemy, so to speak. Know thy opponent, right? Know your opponent. Know the pitchers on the team. Know how to bat against them. If they go in this angle, know how to hit it. Know how to connect to that. Do something. Learn your enemy. Study your enemy. Study your opponent. You would think before you go to war, you better know your enemy, right? You better know every single nook and cranny. You better do intel. What is that? What do they do that? Reconnaissance, right? You better know everything about your enemy, so they can't pull any surprises on you. Same thing in baseball or any other sport. You better know what you're up against, right? So you would think a seasoned team like the Braves, the best team in baseball, would be able to go against the Phillies and go against this stupid name for a first name, Ranger. It's a dumb name. That's your first name? Ranger Suarez. Okay, they lost to him 1 time, but you think, fool me once, shame on me. No. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Translation, you should have learned after being fooled the first time not to be fooled again. So you should know, after going up against Suarez the second time, how to play against him, how to bat against him. Have a pitcher versus batter's duel until he starts throwing too many balls and you get on base and then you knock him out of the park. Something. But what do we get out of the Braves? Nothing. I'm not watching next year. I'm not even going to watch the 8-minute highlights every night like I did this year. I just watch the highlights most of the time because I ain't got time to watch 3-hour games. But I'm not even going to watch the highlights next year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till the middle of the season or towards the end. I'm going to see what your numbers look like. And then maybe I'll invest some time watching. I'm not doing this again. Because you suck, Braves. You suck. You're a paper tiger. This is what this proves me. When you could go to Toronto and get swept, and you don't know how to catch balls in the outfield, you don't know how to pitch all of a sudden, and you damn sure know how to hit during that series. It was earlier this year. You suck. You're not consistent. That's not the best team. The best team, let me tell you something. The best chef is consistent. The best restaurant is consistent. Every now and then, it's rare they make a mistake, but they're on point all the time, pretty much. The Braves are not on target all the time. The Braves are very wonky. They're very wonky. When they're hot in the zone, they're on fire, like in June. Then all of a sudden, boom. It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Charlie Morton, in my opinion, sucked. We have quite a few pitchers that Bryce Elder. To me, he sucks. Every time I watch him, he can't pitch. He loses. He gets destroyed. Maybe I've seen 1 or 2 games out of Charlie Morton and Bryce Elder where they pitched a really good game. More often than not, every time I see him, I'm face palming. I'm like, no, don't. It's ridiculous. You got 2 good pitchers. Max Fried, which he blew it, didn't he, the other night? He didn't pitch so hot with his blister on his hand. He can't put a Band-Aid over it. What's wrong with his hand? He's got a blister all the time. What is he doing? Make a big deal in a press conference about his blister. Oh, who was it, Max Fried? Max, how's your hand? How's your blister? It's all I heard out of the reporters. It's like, what's this about a blister? You got a blister? What is he doing in his after hours? You got a blister all the damn time. It's weird. Why can't it get healed? Why can't you put a Band-Aid on it, man up? Or wear a glove or something like that. Something. It's ridiculous where we're at. So the Braves blow it, and here goes another year. Phillies get to rub it in our faces, and I can't stand the Phillies. And I hope the Diamondbacks destroy the Phillies. I'm not even a Diamondbacks fan because as far as I remember, we whooped the Diamondbacks. So we should have been able to whoop the Phillies. For the Diamondbacks to be making it in postseason, meanwhile, if I remember correctly, we manhandled the Diamondbacks pretty much all year. If I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I could get my teams mixed up. But I think I am. I think I'm right. But let's hear what he's got to say because he's pissed off. A lot of Braves fans, listen.
Agreed.
It doesn't mean I'm not a fan of the Braves, but it means I'm pissed off at them. Just like if you have a good friend or a best friend and you get mad at them sometimes, or you have an argument with a family member, you know, until that person, if that person corrects their behavior, then you're okay with them. But if they're still going to take a dump on you, then you're not okay with them. This is called tough love. That's what I got. I'm not going to be wishy-washy. You go, well, my Braves made it to the postseason, so they did good. They tried. No, they didn't try. They did not. That is not trying. That is not what a hungry team looks like. They half-stepping.
Of one run.
One run.
Against Ranger Suarez.
One run. That's all you can do. The best team in baseball. One run.
You know, we got our MVP. Now, look, I love Ronald. Love him. 40-70 guy. MVP. You know who looked like an MVP this series? Bryce Harper.
Yeah, Bryce Harper. He looks like the MVP.
You know who looked like a guy that led the league in home runs this year? Nick Castellanos.
Yeah, because it sure as hell wasn't anybody on the Braves team.
You know what our big stars do? Ronald got the bases loaded.
And then they leave him stranded.
Can't drive nobody in.
Leave him stranded.
I mean, look at the top of the ninth. That's a prime example of what this team did this whole series.
Yeah.
You got first and third with nobody out.
Wow. They could have tied it up.
Soft pop-up.
Soft pop-up. Yeah.
Strikeout.
Yeah.
Season over. This is the biggest, and look, as a Braves fan, I should be used to this.
Yeah, we should be used to it.
Look at all those great teams we had in the 90s and didn't win a damn thing.
He's saying what I've always said, but I never voiced it on a video. Teams in the 90s. Look how many times we went to the playoffs in the 90s. We had Steve Avery. Who do we have? Ron Gant, Sid Bream. We had Smoking Smoltz. We had Tom Glavine. I mean, we had it all, baby. Terry Pendleton. Who the hell was the short? Rafael Belliard, shortstop. Remember that? Remember that? The dream team. How many times did they take us to the postseason in the 90s and dropped it? Just lost. Right? They won once in the 90s in 10 years. And as hot as they were during the season, they sucked. They could not seal the deal except for one time in 95. Remember that? And then we went back, if I remember correctly, but in 96, we went back to the World Series and the friggin' Yankees had their brooms out. They had their brooms out. We couldn't do we couldn't win a game to save our lives. Remember that? 96. Classic. Every now and then, they'll win and come through and show you a team that they could be. They'll do it for a season. They might win one World Series once every 50 years. They'll keep going to the playoffs and then fizzle. They're not really truly living up to the team they're not living up to their so-called label as the best team in baseball. You're not. You're not the best team in baseball when you get swept by the Marlins. You're not the best team in baseball when you get destroyed by the Phillies during the season and you get punked out in the playoffs in postseason. That's not the best team in baseball whatsoever at all. The best team in baseball is the one that takes the playoffs. The best team in baseball is the one that wins the World Series. So every damn thing the Braves done, every home run, every base stolen, it was all for naught. Who cares? Who cares how many bases were stolen? Did you win anything in the playoff? No, you didn't. You lost in less than 5 games? Sit down. Sit down, Braves. Sick of your crap. Just like he's sick of it.
1-1.
Someone's going to delete themselves. I know it. I know, because they can't handle it. Pansies.
3-1 lead on the Dodgers.
Sheep.
Blow it.
Yeah. Blowing.
Yes, we won it all in 2021. But then what happened the last 2 years? You play a team in the Phillies that you dominated in your division the whole 162.
Yeah.
and then you can't win one game on their field. Strider, people go, oh, Strider did his damn job, man. Strider did his job. And Strider did his job, man. And guess what? You scored one run.
One run.
What I said all day, we need at least 5, man. Five with Strider, we'll get it.
Yeah.
You scored
one run.
We scored 0
in game 1.
Then we broke through a 5 in game 2.
Then got 2.
We scored 2 in 1.
They got 2 runs last night. Got blown out last night, like 8-2 or 10-2 or something like that.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And this team,
it's unbelievable.
Did all this all year long
to get destroyed.
Come out there and lay an egg like that.
Lay an egg, yeah. You did all these things all year long, he said. Stolen bases, home run after home run, this, that, and the other. And then just laid one big egg after another in the playoffs. You didn't even make it to 5 games. You couldn't even bring it home for a magical Saturday night at Truist Park. You couldn't do it. But you're the best team in baseball? No, you're not. You suck, Braves. You suck. Let's face it. It's just like having a kid that, it's still your child, but when they do wrong, you're going to call them out on it. You're going to call them out on it, and you're going to go at them hard. You're not going to let up on them if you're a good parent, that is. If you're a good parent. Now, we got parents out there that kids could do no wrong. And that's why our country's in the shape that it's in. I'm not talking about those shitty parents. I'm talking about a proper parenting. Discipline, it's called. Give them discipline. Well, Braves need discipline. You're not disciplined enough. You're just not. There should not have been pop-ups. There should have been home runs. There should have been grand slams. There should be no bases stranded. But look what you did. Braves suck. They're weak. You cannot count on them. This is the Braves. This is the Braves spirit. They said the curse was broken in '95. I think it's back. It's back. I mean, hell far. 95 you won it, and then 2021 you won it. I'm beginning to think those were fluke things. You know what I'm saying? It's like a broken clock is right twice a day. So yeah, every now and then, a team like the Braves is going to win the World Series every once a quarter century or every half a century. I mean, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, they're going to go to the playoffs. They'll take you to play. It's like you know what it's like? You're going to marry someone, and they take you to the altar. But just before the vows are said and all that stuff, all said and done, they get cold feet, and they leave you there at the altar. That's what the Braves do. They leave you there at the altar. That's the analogy. They take you all the way. You go through dating. It's like dating someone. You fall in love. This, that, and the other. You get them the ring. You get engaged. You pick out where you're going to get marred. And then you go meet and at the altar. You got the preacher or priest there. And then all of a sudden, they leave you hanging. They leave you out to dry. They leave you disappointed. You've invested all your emotions, all your time, right? All your hopes, all your dreams, a new life together. And just like the Braves, a lot of people they get emotionally invested in this. They have hope for the Braves. They have something to identify with. It's representing their city. Our city's the best. Our team's the best. We could rub this in everyone's faces. You're watching all the things they do, and you go, yeah, that's our team. Go Bravos. We're going to pay $50 a ticket. We're going to invest our time. We're going to sit there for 3 hours. And you can buy expensive food and popcorn and brewskis at the park. And people in the bars are going to go buy their brewskis and watch you on the TV. And then just in general, people are listening on radio. They're watching at home. If nothing else, people are paying attention. And that time is money. Time is precious. All that. All season long. Year after year. Look at you. Couldn't muster it up. You couldn't even make it to win this division series. The National League East champions. Couldn't even make it to that. Couldn't even bring it to 5 games. Couldn't even get hits. Leaving bases loaded. First game shut out at home. Last game at home. Beat by the Nationals. They win the series. I knew when you lost that series. I knew when you got swept by the Marlins. I had real bad feelings. Mediocre Marlins, you getting swept by? This is the best team in baseball? Say what? But then the Nationals. You destroyed the Nationals. It wasn't like it was hard to do. But for some strange reason, you couldn't muster it up at the end of the year. The last 3 games at home. Was it 3 games at home? I think so. Something like that. Last couple games at home, you dropped the series. And the last game, no less, of the series, last game of the year, and it was at home. And you lost it. I said, this isn't the best team. This is not a good look. And shows enough. First game, 3-0, shutout, punked out. Game 2, okay, you came alive in the 6th inning. Wonderful. The momentum, they said, changed. It's going for the Braves now. Then you had a day off. Then game 3 came along. You got your asses handed to you in Philadelphia. The streets of Philadelphia. And I don't like Philadelphia. I don't like their fans. I think they're snot noses. You know, and they can't wait to rub our nose, take our nose and rub it in And that's exactly what they did. Took a big dump on the Braves. And the Braves led it, as far as I'm concerned. I'm disappointed, and I'm not watching you again. I'll check in maybe middle of next year if there even is a next year of baseball, because the way the world's going, who the feck knows. Maybe Lou Ferrigno knows. I'll check in maybe next July if everything's still relatively the same, and I'll see where you're at. But I'll check in every now and then. I'll watch a highlight or maybe read a stat on the internet and see what your win-loss record is. But I ain't doing it. I'm not. And Braves fans, you need to be doing this. Bring that back. Whoa, and make the opposite team nervous. That used to make them very nervous when you all stood up there and rocked the stadium like that for a long time. It made the pitchers nervous. It made the team nervous. And I believe that helps a lot. But y'all, Braves fans are nothing like they used to be in the 90s. Bring back Chief Knock-a-Homer. Maybe we'll start knocking homers out. I don't know. But this sucked. This sucked, and you lost it to the Phillies. Shame on you, Bravos. You ain't so brave. You're not the best team in baseball. You're not. The best team in baseball wins not only games during the season, but postseason. And they also win the World Series. The best team in baseball, that's the one that wins the World Series. You ain't it, Braves. You just ain't.